What is up, Nerd Nation? It's your boy Hunter, and I'm joined by Haven today. How's it going, Haven?
What's up? How you doing, brother?
Pretty good. And this is Film Nerd TV recap show. This is for Flash season 4, episode 1, The Flash Reborn. Woo! All right. So how this is going to work is we're going to do our positives, our negatives, and then at the end, give the episode a rating 1 to 5 stars, just like my movie reviews. So let's start off with some of the positives. I'll go to Haven first, since he is our guest today. Talk about your thoughts of the episode and then some of the positives that you found.
I like in the very beginning how they recapped some things from the last season. Positive was seeing Cisco and Kid Flash teaming up, in the costumes, going around, battling a villain that's been shown before in previous seasons. So I thought that was cool. And, Joe, the father, out there helping them. The sister taking control of the pretty much the Star Labs. So I thought that was well done. The villain was cool. The villain that showed up, I thought he was unique. I have a few more, but I'll let you go ahead. You want to go talk some stuff?
All right, yeah, I do agree. The opening was real cool, showing pretty much what happened, the recap of season 3, in case you missed it, when Barry goes into the Speed Force and all that stuff. So I'll start with one of my positives, and it's the chemistry between Cisco and Caitlin. I love their chemistry where they start cracking jokes with each other, and you can tell they're friends, and they can make fun of each other, but they still love each other. Just the comedy from Cisco, again, those quick movie references, and just making the whole show really entertaining for me. I love hearing Cisco's cracking jokes and all the movie references, and the way that they use his vibe powers in the beginning is real cool, where they trap, I'm not sure who that girl was. I totally forgot her name.
Yeah, me too.
But they trap her in the vibe portal, and then they capture her. But yeah, I don't want to go through all my positives so quick, but definitely the chemistry between Cisco and Caitlin is a big one for me.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. It was good seeing them in different stages of their life since last season, so that was pretty cool. Seeing her as a barmaid was different. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, they always had great chemistry, so that's always a positive for that Flash show.
Yeah, definitely. So any more positives that you could think of that, throughout the entire episode?
Yeah, I like the overall episode as a whole from beginning to end. The progression of Kid Flash from last season to this season, being really out there as the forefront superhero. I like him and Cisco arguing about what team name they were going to use the whole
Team Kid Flash.
Yeah, nobody was on board with that.
It's too wordy, as Cisco would say.
Yeah. I really liked shit. I'm forgetting her name now. Damn it. Flash's fiance,
Iris.
Iris. It was surprising to see her pretty much in charge of Star Labs, like being the control center person, just telling them where to go and stuff like that. I was kind of like, oh, okay. I didn't know she was that good with computers, but
yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, but hey, whatever.
Yeah,
the villain was unique. I really dug the villain,
Yeah, the villain was cool. I believe they named him Samurai Joy.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
which is actually from the Flash comic book. Which I'm not going to compare it to the comic book a lot because I don't read that many comic books, but I've read those issues.
Oh, cool.
The comedy on this episode was really good with all the stuff with Barry and Cisco trying to remind him who he is. He's like, "Hey Barry, it's your best friend." It's Cisco really stole the show for me, which he always does in the past seasons. Huge fan of Cisco, but take nothing away from the supporting cast either. The one thing that was missing was Julian. I heard that the actor who plays Julian wasn't wasn't going to come back, which kind of sucked because he did bring a good, almost counterpoint to the group. Like he was all serious and brought up the business, but then the crew was all goofy and cracking jokes and stuff. But you really tell that he belonged in the group.
Yeah, well, I had a feeling he was probably only going to last one season, and they mentioned him that he was off in London studying. They're like, yeah, so you get to pretty much they wrote him off the show.
Yeah. Another one I had is at the end where you see Caitlin and she becomes Killer Frost, but she's kind of learned to control that rage almost, and of course that Great Hulk reference. You won't. It was like
you something like me when I'm angry.
No, it was like you wouldn't want to see me frosty or something like that. But I do like how it's almost like the Hulk in the fact where Killer Frost will only come out if Caitlyn's in trouble or in danger. That guy twists her arm, and then Killer Frost comes out and is almost like the strength or the big brother, big sister of Caitlyn, who's kind of the weak, smart girl. I like that she has that alternate personality that can come in and help her, which it's kind of cool to see that Killer Frost is slowly becoming like an anti-hero, a good guy almost, because she is actually part of the Justice League now that in that world, which is kind of cool to see that they're trying to make her join Team Flash, and like you have that Killer Frost on their side.
Yeah. I just like the simplicity of the special effects, with her eyes changing. I thought that was a nice touch, when she was going back and forth between Caitlyn and Killer Frost.
Yeah.
Trying to keep Killer Frost at bay, you see her eyes changing back to the natural color instead of the all white. I thought that was a nice touch. It was really cool.
I did too. Another one I had was the reveal of the Thinker, the major villain this year for this season. I love the fact they're not going with another speedster.
Yeah, well, they burned that bridge too many times.
Yeah, I do love that they're going to have a villain that's going to outthink the Flash and is going to set traps and try to slow down his speed and maybe take his speed away. And there's so much stuff you could do with someone who's, a top-level genius that the Thinker is. Like sending the droid out for him just to lure the Flash in and then to bring him back into Central City was really smart in his hand because he knew, hey, if I can get the Flash back in Central City, then he's on equal level with me, and he's out of the Speed Force, which means he won't be getting the powers back anymore. I do like that. How he's always one step ahead of the Flash, even those small parts that we saw at the end of the episode. All right, let's go to our negatives real quick, which I only have I think I have like 2 or 3, but they're really like nitpickies. Do you have any negatives of the show?
Yeah, I mean, it's called Flash, so I understand why they did it, but I kind of wish they held off for maybe like a couple more episodes before they bring the Flash back. They could have went one episode without him, just showing like the team struggling and coping with life, and then it's like, oh, hey, I know how to bring him back here. And then 2 minutes later, he's back. I was like, oh, come on, man. I mean, it looked really cool when he did come back, running super fast and was red hot and then, stopped and butt naked. But I was like, God damn, you couldn't just wait one episode or two? You could have kept the team going and really struggling, to find their footings or trying, and always like, man, we're missing our center, but then it's like, oh, okay, he's back, So I was like, that bummed me out. The robot disappointed me. I was kind of hoping it was a person. Then when I seen it was a robot, I was like, oh, that was kind of lame. I didn't get the reveal of the villain's name. I actually thought it was Metron from the New Gods.
Well, I follow
the Morbius chair.
Sorry, I follow Tom Cavanaugh, the guy who plays Harrison Wells.
Yeah.
On Facebook, and he's already told the name of the villain, so that's how I knew it was the Thinker, was because he already.
Yeah, I've seen it on Facebook and stuff. Yeah, but it threw me off because it looks like he's in the future, So that's why I was kind of like, oh, okay. So that's why I don't know where they're gonna go with that of why he's obsessed with the Flash, because last season Savitar was from the future, So it was kind of like, oh, another future villain. And then,
Well,
Zoom is from the future also. The reverse Flash, he's from the
yeah.
future. So I actually thought when I first seen it with the chair, it looked like the Morbius chair. And when he turned around, I was like, oh shit, they're gonna have the new gods in here, or one of them. And I was like, man, how's that gonna tie into the Flash? Like, what did he see that they need to bring Flash back? I thought he was gonna be like a good guy, bringing like, helping the Flash, with some like really immediate danger in the future.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, oh well, this guy's just kind of in the chair. So that was, it was like,
But yeah,
um,
at first, what's funny is like me and my brother was watching it, and when he turned around, he was like, "Oh my god, it's Brainiac!" I was like, he does kind of look like Brainiac sitting in the chair with a tentacle behind him.
yeah,
I was like, that does kind of look like Brainiac to me. But on your point about how you wish they didn't show Flash in the first episode,
yeah,
I wish they would have waited an episode, but the way they brought him back was really smart because, again, the Thinker sent that droid after him saying, I'm going to destroy Central City if you don't bring me the real Flash.
yeah,
So I kind of like how they incorporated the one-off villain of the Samurai Droid and
yeah,
then tied it into the rest of the season, which is going to be the Thinker as the villain. One of my negatives is the way that Iris was acting at the beginning of the episode. This is somebody, Barry was somebody that she was engaged to, she loved, and it seemed like to me that she was kind of brushing him off, like, oh, he's dead, he's never going to come back. And I was like, out of anybody, like, the rest of the team was like, no, he's going to come back. I would have thought it'd be the opposite. Like, she would be the one that would hold on hope that Barry would come back, not the team that has to force her to believe that he's going to come back.
yeah. Well, man, it seemed a little, because they mentioned it that it was 6 months after, he disappeared. Um, so, it's different from loving somebody as a friend or a sibling, and to being in love with somebody like she was in love with him. They loved each other. That I think it was just too painful for her, and sometimes you have to like put the past behind you and try to move on. And it did seem a little weird that everybody else was like, oh, he's gonna come back. I guess because she didn't want to dwell on it, because they did show the reveal where she was like, I haven't even slept in our bed because it was too painful. I've been
Yeah.
sleeping on the couch. So I think she had a little hope, but she didn't want to have too much hope and be hurting every day. Because sometimes when you do lose a love, it's painful for a long time, and sooner or later you got to kind of move past it. But
Well, yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I
that's pretty
kind
sad.
of understood that, but like right off the bat in the very first episode, the very first few minutes, it seems like she had given like he ain't coming back. I'm taking over the team now. I was like, we
Yeah,
all know that he's coming back, and the team is the one that has all the hope. Cisco's like, I can find a way to bring him back, and she's like, let's not do that. And I just feel like if I was in love with somebody, that I would be like, okay, if there's a way to bring him back without harming the city, let's at least try it.
yeah, that's true.
And I mean, Cisco talked about how he got some of the world's best scientists up in this to help out. He got Felicity. He got he lists off all these names. I'd be like, okay, let's at least test this theory out. If it doesn't work and it's not going to
Yeah,
harm anybody, then okay, it didn't work. But at least let's give it a try, because if he does come back, then I have my love back, and we have our Flash. The city has the flashback now.
yeah.
That's just the way I was
No,
feeling it. And then I'm gonna disagree with you. I kind of thought the Samurai Joy was kind of a weak villain this episode, because I feel like he didn't really do anything. I mean, he was just like, bring me the real Flash. But at the end of the episode, I kind of see why they did it, and it was smart on the Thinker side. But the Samurai Joy just felt like just a one-off villain to me.
oh yeah. Well, I was disappointed when they took the mask off and it was a robot. I was like, well, that was kind of funny. I was like, that was kind of crap. I mean, yeah, he didn't. They didn't really give him too much screen time, I guess now, because, like you said, he's a one-off villain. So there's not really much you could do with that. A couple minutes for an episode of him. But I thought
Yeah.
the sword was cool, and I guess maybe that'll come into play in the future of them trying to figure out like what power the sword had, because when he slammed it on the ground and everything kind of like
Erupted.
that blue Yeah, that blue type of force bomb or whatever came out. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. The jetpack. I liked his look. You know, he took down Wally pretty easily. But yeah, it was kind of disappointing when he took off the mask and it was just a robot. I was like, oh, it was kind of lame. You know.
Well, I kind of knew that he was a robot to begin with, so it didn't really disappoint me that bad. I just wish that they gave the droid more stuff to do because it looked like it was capable of fighting. It was capable of handling itself. I would kind of like to see like Kid Flash attempts it like he does in the episode, and he loses, and then Barry has to come through, and he snaps out of it, and then we have a big fight between the Flash and the samurai droid.
Yeah.
This one, it just seems like he Barry comes back, flies, grabs Iris, and then he just like plummets to the ground.
Well, he ripped one of his wings off, and that's what.
Oh, did he? I didn't see that part. Also, it was him like grab Iris, and then like
he grabbed Iris, and then he pretty much like just. I was like, oh, he must be super fat, super strong now. He just like ripped the wing off the guy. That's why he fell. He plummeted to Earth, and I was like, that was it. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So I guess that's all of our positive and negatives for tonight's episode. You're rating 1 to 5 stars, Haven, for this episode?
This episode, only a few nitpick flaws I had with it. I like the dialogue. I like the way it was shot. Every scene felt like it was a purpose. They had some really great scenes, especially when Flash woke up. When his eyes really changed. And then he hauled ass and he kind of blew the doors down and ran past Joe. I was like, oh, okay, now he's back. I give it a 5. I give it a 3 out of 5 stars.
3 out of 5? Okay, I'm a bit higher than you. I gave it 4.5 out of 5.
Oh wow.
I could have been 5 out of 5 if those, if they kind of had a great villain with them going back and forth. But then again, it was the first episode. You brought back the Flash. You get to see Flash and Kid Flash, Cisco, Caitlin, Killer Frost. That great scene between Killer Frost and that guy in the bar where she just like snaps him over the pinball machine.
Oh yeah.
A lot of good movie references, which I love by Cisco. That's kind of his thing now. So yeah, I'm actually real excited for this season, The Flash, because again, it's not just a regular speedster villain. This guy is a super genius, and he's gonna have to figure out a way to beat the Flash without fighting him. Kind of like what Lex Luthor does with Superman. There's no way that Lex Luthor could take out Superman by himself, but he's outsmarting Superman along the way.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like that could be the Flash's version of Lex Luthor.
One they picked that I guess because it's TV land. It's funny that they were like, oh, he's been gone for 6 months. And they're like, well, I told them he was on sabbatical. There's no job you can leave for 6 months and you come back and the job is going to be there. Julian's gone. They need somebody in that department for CSI. Julian's gone. Barry's gone. Who the hell was doing all the crime work, But,
well, Joe kind of
he's a cop, though. He doesn't do CSI work.
Well, no. Joe was like, I talked to the people, and if Barry doesn't come back, then they're going to have to replace him.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they must have replaced Julian already, and that guy's doing double the work.
Yeah.
I was like, shit, they don't have no CSI department for 6 months.
CSI is screwed.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, we can end the episode. He gave it a 3 out of 5. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. All right, guys, thank you for joining us for the first Film Nerd TV recap shows. Join us Friday when me and my friend Chance and maybe my brother Dylan are going to do a Riverdale recap review show. And starting next week, we're going to have stuff like Arrow, The 100, Supernatural, and Legends of Tomorrow. All right. And Supergirl. We have a lot of recap shows coming for you guys. All right, Haven, anything to plug before we leave?
Hey, man, hit that subscribe button, like our channel, Film Nerd TV. And, if you love movie trivia, watch our matches and join the league, man. We got plenty of divisions, and we got plenty of exciting people. And,
a little too many divisions, but
yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.